like many young fans growing up with Anderson shows, you had toys based on them, didn't you?
I did, yes.
In fact, before we have previously discussed the unfortunate fate of your dinky Space 1999 Eagle.
Yes.
Which I believe ended up in a bucket that was later used for your sister's vomit, and the twain met.
You're right.
Yes.
You are right, yes.
Very,
it's true.
very
Somewhere
sad.
on the A1.
Oh,
Yeah.
gosh. Oh, yes. Understandable in that case. But yes, sometimes accidents do happen, particularly if you're trying to reenact a particular action scene from your favourite Gerry Anderson show.
Oh,
Those
yes.
dinky toys and all other brands, in fact, were not really designed to be played with quite as roughly as their screen counterparts were. But that didn't stop young fans from trying anyway. I mean, we probably all did, and we probably all have a story or two or three about an incident involving an Anderson toy that was never the same after we tried to recreate that particular crash landing or that one car chase or whatever it was.
Yeah.
I don't remember the episode of Space 1999 where an eagle was washed away in a tide of vomit, but...
You don't remember that? Oh. Maybe it's just me then.
Must have been season 2.
Yeah.
Anyway, once upon a time, however, there was a family where the children grew up with access to slightly more sophisticated toys than the ones that we had. That family being the Meddings family.
Oh, right.
Because sometimes what used to happen was that Derek Meddings would take a particular craft home for his children to play with.
Imagine.
Yeah, I think we can all see this charming story is now heading in a bit of a Sid from Toy Story direction. Yes, we've all heard horror stories over the years about Anderson props and models and even puppets being destroyed by sledgehammers, chucked into skips, buried in landfill or whatever. But we've not heard about original studio models ending up in the back gardens of the garden of the Meddings family home.
No.
Being blown up with fireworks.
Oh.
Or, rather tragically, in the case of a model UFO, being used as a frisbee till it broke to pieces.
Oh, that's
I
criminal.
know. But of course, it wasn't only Anderson-related props that suffered such fates. Derek was working on many of the country's biggest effects films of the day, so it would have also seen Bond stuff going to that garden, Superman stuff, and so on, that all eventually met their end in that Meddings garden. Now, obviously, Derek wasn't really thinking much beyond bringing cool stuff home for his kids to play with, like any good dad would.
Yeah.
And they were just being kids and doing what kids do. Not that we're recommending playing with fireworks in the garden or using UFO studio props as frisbees, please. Thank you very much. But just imagine what iconic vehicles might have been broken or blown to pieces in that garden. It just doesn't bear thinking about.
Oh, no, it doesn't.
But again, at that time, no one was thinking about archiving any of this stuff. And chances are, if they hadn't ended up in the Meddings garden with the Meddings children, they might have ended up in a skip anyway. But even so, if we had a time machine and the location of the Meddings family home at that time, what treasures might we have been able to save?
Oh, yes.
But let's not end things on a sad note when it comes to models from the Anderverse. Let's end with the Derek Meddings of December 1992, who, upon hearing that a local boy was unable to get a Tracy Island playset, saved the boy's Christmas by making him one using the famous Blue Peter worksheet. But
What?
with a few Derek Meddings style additions. Now,
that's cool. That's brilliant.
it is cool, isn't it? We don't know if that Derek Meddings built Tracy Island still exists, but if you are that little boy whose Christmas was saved by Derek Meddings, then do please get in touch with us, podcast@gerryanderson.com, unless you blew it up in the back garden, in which case, shame on you.
Yeah, we hope you have a dreadful Christmas.
No less than that little boy deserves.
Yeah, that's incredible. What a story.
Can you imagine that? I mean, I spoke to an agent a while ago who happened to be a family friend of Reg Hill, and she remembers going to visit Reg's house and there being a load of props and models on the dining room table. I don't think Reg would have played with them to such a destructive degree, but these models were around for a long time. They were there.
I'm sure that, yes. That's a question you must get asked. Were you never given any of this stuff when you were growing up? Did you never take anything home from... Did you take rum and tan home from Space Precinct to put in your grandmother's chair?
I had a tweet this morning saying, "Have you got any of the old puppets or the props?"
Yeah.
I don't know if that's an accurate impression of the tweeter, but
I'm sure it is.
I don't have anything. I mean, you mentioned Romex hands. I have Romex hands here, but only because our dear late great friend Richard Gregory returned them to me. He kept them for all those years.
Yeah.
I infamously, uselessly painted one of Romex hands, which was the rubbish one. If you see it on screen,
Yes.
which I've got upstairs now. I brought a few bits and pieces home from Space Precinct that I was allowed to, and I did have a Sproggle from Lavender Castle for a while.
Oh, did you?
I painted, yeah. But do you know what? I'm sad to say I think I flogged Sproggle on eBay when I was a student for my beer money. Isn't that terrible?
Yeah, but you regret it now.
Well, I do now, yeah. But
yeah, of course you do.
It's, hindsight and all that. But no, I've got nothing significant. I know you've got a multicom and your gun.
And a gun.
And your
badge. And a badge, yeah. Just a bit, that's right.
Yeah. But there are collectors out there who've got amazing stuff.
Yes, I do. I have to say, I don't really play with them that often. I say that often because I do sometimes.
I've seen you doing it.
Well, wouldn't you? Of course you would.